The movie Death Streamer, 2024, opens with a gripping sequence of suspense as a mysterious live stream begins, displaying a shadowy figure who seemingly captivates and terrorizes his audience. The protagonist, Alexander Jarvis, an ambitious but morally ambiguous content creator, is introduced. Alongside his two partners, Eddie and Juniper, Alexander runs a popular horror-focused streaming channel titled Church of Chills. The show features eerie stories of hauntings, gruesome histories, and sensationalized paranormal events. While Alexander thrives on the fame his channel brings, tensions run high among the trio. Eddie, the research-driven member, is passionate about historical accuracy and uncovering genuine mysteries, while Juniper is more pragmatic, often questioning Alexander's reckless choices. This dynamic sets the tone for their fateful encounter with an enigmatic and sinister force tied to the world of viral horror streaming. Alexander's obsession with horror content. The film spends its early moments showcasing the trio's interactions as they plan their next Church of Chills episode. They joke about ghost stories, debate content decisions, and clash over Alexander's ego. Alexander dismisses criticism about the show's focus on fake or exaggerated material, emphasizing that viral hits are the key to sustaining their platform. Their latest episode focuses on the gruesome tale of Dr. Jonas Hope, a Victorian surgeon infamous for grotesque experiments in a hospital basement. The reenactments, narration, and dark humor highlight the team's creative, albeit ethically dubious, approach to storytelling. However, a shift occurs when Alexander discovers a live stream titled Carnage House that garners millions of views in mere hours. The video purportedly shows a charismatic but eerie figure, known only as the Master, performing acts of hypnotic terror and murder on willing participants. Intrigued, Alexander becomes obsessed with the possibility of featuring this content in Church of Chills. The sinister allure of Carnage House. The team begins investigating Carnage House, suspecting it to be a cleverly orchestrated viral campaign or hoax. Their skepticism fades as they uncover disturbing footage of participants being drawn into the Master's domain, willingly consuming drugged drinks, and ultimately meeting horrifying fates. In one instance, a victim claims to have consumed the Master's blood as part of an initiation ritual, leaving both Eddie and Juniper horrified. Alexander grows increasingly fascinated, rationalizing the dangers of engaging with Carnage House as a necessary risk for their channel's success. He dismisses Juniper's warnings, even mocking her fear of the supernatural. The tension between the trio escalates when Juniper decides to quit the channel, taking her share of their earnings. Eddie, though hesitant, remains loyal to Alexander but continues to push back against his obsession. This dynamic sets up a crucial turning point in the story, where their curiosity leads to unintended consequences. The truth behind the Master. As Alexander delves deeper into Carnage House, he uncovers the name Kurheim, an ancient term meaning House of Blood. This revelation connects Carnage House to an old, abandoned mansion with a gruesome history of sacrificial rituals. Eddie's research reveals that the site was historically linked to cult activities, where victims were manipulated into believing they were destined for sacrifice. Against Eddie's protests, Alexander arranges a visit to the mansion, determined to record exclusive footage. The decision proves catastrophic as the group inadvertently alerts the Master to their presence. Upon returning home, the team discovers their equipment malfunctioning and cryptic messages appearing on their screens. In one chilling sequence, the Master directly addresses them through their live feed, chastising them for exposing his secrets and scattering his carefully planted seeds. The team realizes they've become targets of a malevolent force far beyond their understanding. Unraveling sanity. The Master's influence begins to take a psychological toll on the trio. Juniper, despite her initial decision to leave, returns to warn Alexander and Eddie about the dangers they face. Her fears are validated as they witness strange occurrences, objects move inexplicably, mirrors reveal distorted reflections, and each member experiences vivid hallucinations of their deepest fears. Let's expand further, delving deeper into the events, themes, and consequences of Death Streamer, 2024. Alexander's spiral into obsession. As Alexander grows consumed by Carnage House, the once charismatic and ambitious leader of Church of Chills begins to unravel. The Master's broadcasts, though deeply unsettling, seem to have an addictive quality that draws Alexander back. He spends countless nights rewatching the streams, analyzing every frame, searching for clues to the Master's identity. His obsession alienates him from Eddie and Juniper, who grow increasingly concerned about his erratic behavior. The Master, aware of Alexander's curiosity, begins addressing him directly in the broadcasts, taunting him. In one particularly chilling moment, the Master states, "The line between creator and creation blurs when you stare too long into the abyss." What do you think your audience sees when they look at you, Alexander? This statement plants a seed of doubt in Alexander's mind, making him question his motivations and sense of control. Juniper's departure and return. The strain on the group reaches a breaking point when Juniper decides to leave the channel. Her departure is not just out of fear for her safety but also disillusionment with Alexander's dangerous ambition. In a heartfelt scene, she tells Eddie, "We started this for fun, for stories. Now, we're playing with fire, and Alex doesn't care if we all burn." However, Juniper's return later in the story is a pivotal moment. After discovering unsettling information about Carnage House through independent research, she warns Eddie and Alexander of the mansion's cursed history. Her reappearance provides a moment of reconciliation for the trio, as they must put their differences aside to face the growing threat. Psychological warfare. The Master's ability to manipulate reality becomes more apparent as he infiltrates their lives through hallucinations and glitches in their equipment. The film's middle act is marked by increasingly surreal and horrifying experiences for the trio. Eddie's visions. She begins seeing apparitions of the victims from Carnage House, who appear to plead for help before disintegrating into ash. Juniper's paranoia. She hears whispers that call her name, even when she's alone. Her nightmares reveal her deepest fear, becoming a victim herself, forgotten and abandoned. Alexander's guilt. The most harrowing hallucinations target Alexander, showing him twisted versions of his audience chanting, "More blood, more fame," while images of his colleagues flash as corpses. The group begins to crack under the weight of these experiences, but Eddie remains determined to uncover the truth about the Master. Her research into ancient rituals and Kurheim's history reveals that the Master's power is rooted in belief. By manipulating his victims into thinking they are destined for sacrifice, he strengthens his hold on them. The mansion, Kurheim's dark legacy. When the trio arrives at the Kurheim mansion, the film takes on a more claustrophobic and atmospheric tone. The mansion, dilapidated but imposing, is filled with remnants of its macabre history, blood-stained walls, decayed artifacts, and a pervasive sense of dread. Each room seems to hold fragments of the Master's story, piecing together his rise to power through manipulation and terror. The group discovers an altar room adorned with symbols tied to sacrifice and ritual. A journal found among the debris describes the Master's philosophy: pain is truth. Suffering is the only bond that transcends the physical. This insight provides a glimmer of hope, as Eddie theorizes that breaking the cycle of belief could weaken the Master. The Master revealed. In the film's climactic sequence, the Master appears in full form, a figure exuding both charisma and menace. His monologues reveal his disdain for humanity's obsession with spectacle, claiming that he is merely a reflection of society's darkest desires. "You made me," he tells the trio. "Every click, every view, every scream, it all feeds me." The Master forces the group to participate in a live ritual streamed to thousands of viewers. He manipulates them into roles within the ritual, with Alexander as the architect, Eddie as the chronicler, and Juniper as the sacrifice. The Master's control over them appears absolute, but Eddie's earlier research provides a glimmer of hope. The turning point. Eddie recalls the Master's dependence on belief and convinces Alexander and Juniper to reject the ritual. In a tense and emotional moment, Alexander must confront his own complicity in the Master's rise. By acknowledging his guilt and choosing to defy the Master, he disrupts the ritual's flow, weakening the Master's hold on them. Juniper, summoning her courage, uses the disruption to attack the Master, breaking a mirror that serves as a focal point for his power. The mansion begins to collapse as the Master's influence falters, and the trio makes a desperate escape. The aftermath. The final act leaves the audience with lingering questions about the true extent of the Master's power. While the trio escapes the mansion, their victory feels hollow. Alexander, now humbled and broken, vows to dismantle Church of Chills, acknowledging the role he played in perpetuating the cycle of exploitation. Eddie and Juniper part ways, their friendship fractured but intact. The film ends with a haunting post-credits scene showing a new Carnage House stream, implying that the Master's influence persists in some form, waiting for the next wave of curious and ambitious creators to fall into his trap. Themes and final thoughts. Death Streamer, 2024, explores themes of ambition, guilt, and the ethical implications of content creation in the digital age. The Master serves as a metaphor for the darker side of internet culture, feeding on spectacle and sensationalism while exposing the vulnerabilities of those who chase fame at any cost. The film's unsettling tone, combined with its commentary on the intersection of horror and media, leaves a lasting impact. Its ambiguous ending ensures that the story resonates with viewers long after the credits roll, inviting them to reflect on their own relationship with online content and the costs of pursuing fame. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.